obscure world of parking. We use it every day, but have we really capitalized on the intricacies of our industry? In this podcast, the Parking Network will go behind the scenes and talk to industry professionals about all things parking, from the horizon of evolving technology and even stories of the old days. We hope to encourage and inspire operators and property managers alike to look at parking through a new lens. Hey, welcome to our first episode of Our Parking Industry. We are so excited to be here and we're happy to introduce ourselves. So we'll start out with Clyde. You can introduce yourself and then we'll go around the table.
Hello there, I'm Clyde Wilson, president and owner of the Parking Network. I've been in the parking business 43 years.
And I'm Krista O'Lean. I've been here since 2018 and I am the VP and Chief Data Analyst.
I'm Trina Tudor. I've been here since 2021, and I am a senior data analyst.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lee Thomas. I have been with TPN since June of 2023. I am a data analyst, and I contribute to our publications.
My name is Shiloh Marr. I also have been with TPN since June of 2023, serving as a digital strategist. And prior to joining the team, I was an educator for 6 years and now live in Houston and do all media design for TPN.
All right. So Clyde, we know you're a history buff. Can you give us a quick run through of TPN/the Parking Network's rich history?
Sure, would be happy to. I love to talk about history. 1979, I was had finished with everything that I needed to do, military, college, and had a small job during the horrible time of the economy in 1979 or 78, which was the Arab oil embargo. And I was looking for a job, and I ended up, we won't go into the story, I ended up at Central Parking System. And what most of you don't know, Central Parking System was in Nashville, Tennessee, and it was founded in Nashville to become the largest parking company in the world. Central Parking was started by Monroe Carroll Sr., and then later his son, Monroe Carroll Jr., bought out the company, and his goal was to become the lead parking company in the U.S. And he was committed, and he did it. And it was a wonderful experience to work for someone with that commitment to the industry. But mainly he had this tremendous knowledge. He was a great business guy, but he also understood there were some weaknesses, at least at that level in 1979 in this industry, and that he could change those and make this a much higher profile industry. And he was committed to doing it, and he did it. I left there, and 4 years later, went on to a larger position with another national company, APCOA, which is an acronym for Airport Parking Company of America. Stayed there until 1997. And by that time, and during that time, I had thought that I had had the opportunity to work for Monroe Carroll. I learned a tremendous bit about this business. I then worked for APCOA Parking. Learned, again, a lot about this business. And I also felt like I had a pretty good handle on some pretty serious issues to me that we as an industry needed to address. And I think the most important thing that I did at that time was to realize I can't address them sitting inside parking operations. I was going to have to get out. So started the Parking Network in 1997. And so 25, 26 years now of the Parking Network. The Parking Network was actually originally designed to be a franchise. But the attorneys asked for too many checks. So we moved over to parking auditing, which I thought was really put us in just as good a position as being a parking franchise. And with the parking audits, we got to look at everybody out there, evaluate parking operations, and I think learned a lot in the first 3 or 4 years of being a parking auditor, learned more than I had learned in the previous 18 years about this business. So that, to me, this was never about being a parking audit company. It was always about the industry. To me, it was always about how do we look at this and do a better job. in 1998 or 1995 and 6, and in 1979, I was really concerned about some pretty serious things in this business that were mainly centered around this being a very heavy cash business, heavy people business, and a cash business that was scattered all over a city and really, really hard to manage. And I was really concerned about we were struggling getting all the money in the bank. We like to think we did, but I knew the truth, that we struggled with it. Not because there were bad managers out there. I think the parking managers are really, really good managers and have done a good job over the years, but they had a lot of hurdles to overcome. So moved forward with parking audits, and then in 2005 had decided I think we're ready for the next step forward. Well, actually in 2002, we had some challenges with some of our customers that they had so many locations to audit that we just couldn't get to them all within a reasonable amount of time. So we had to come up with a way to try to target audits. And that's where the early beginnings of performance monitoring started. That's a very big part of our business today. In that time, performance monitoring was designed to take hundreds of locations, have the revenues and information sent into a small company like us, track about 10 or 15 different numbers within every business out there, and look to see which one didn't match the way that location should look in that particular category of income and expenses. That told us that was a location that needed to be audited. So out of the hundreds we were looking at, we could more easily pick those. PM has grown over the years, and we'll talk about that later. We went from there to, in 2005, the concept of focus point parking. 2007, we went live with focus point parking. Again, we were a consulting company. We didn't have one parking operation. We had designed this concept of focus point to more efficiently manage parking operations. I didn't do that with any intention of becoming a parking operator. It was one of those things that it's just my personality on this. I just knew there was something that needed to be tried, and I wanted to try it and see if it worked. And you know what? It did. It worked really well. So we sold that to Central Parking in 2010, and then moved forward to the next concept, something that we learned very much in the process of doing focus point parking. We actually became the very first company that created, I had no plans ever in my life to be the owner of an equipment manufacturing company or a parking equipment company. But we created a company called Flow Through Technologies, which was the very first equipment company that did not use a paper ticket and moved to license plates as the primary form of entry. And we were the very first, believe it or not, cloud-based parking company out there. From my desk right here, for the first time in all the years I've been in the business, I could see the daily transactions of every location that we managed, every one. So we moved forward with that. But again, I was never intending to be in the parking equipment sales business. We proved that it worked. It was a little ahead of its time. So now I think in the parking industry, we've kind of come around to that. So now we're starting to see this ticketless move and certainly cloud-based parking and the benefits that brings to our industry. So that's kind of where we are today. PM has matured tremendously since 2002. It made a major move in 2004. It made a really major move in 2008, where we became associated with the property management company out there that liked PM but wanted to design it specifically for their business. So we did that. So PM has marched through the years and has become better and better. And we're now totally reinventing PM and adding to it a company called Focus Analytics that, combined with PM, will really put us in a strong position to be able to help parking companies, universities, municipalities really look at and manage financially what's going on in their parking business.
As a new member at TPN, Clyde, it's so fun to hear the history just in this little capsule of a few minutes. I think Monroe Carroll really shared with you his passion for the industry, and it's something that we all really respect about you. So it was interesting to hear this morning about how performance monitoring has really been around for a long time. And that's my role here at TPN, as I'm just up to my ears and performance monitoring all day. But something I'd like to hear about this morning, Clyde, is what do our clients say about performance monitoring? The clients that we've had for a very long time, what does it add to their operation to work with us in this way?
My answer may be a funny answer to some people, but in reality, we're an audit company, and it's really hard to like your auditor. As much as I wanted to, and as much as I thought I'm from this industry, you're still an auditor, and it makes people react to you differently. PM, on the other hand, as it matured, it became very obvious that, yeah, we're auditors, but the whole purpose of PM is to help. So we're really here to help you. And what happens is we evolve and become a part of their team. So you guys and the people before you have all done a really great job of becoming a part of the team of our parking operator customers out there. Some see it a little differently than others. Some really appreciate and understand it. Some still can't quite get over the audit process. But the reality is PM has become something that I am really glad to see it, because it's been since leaving the operations side of the business in 1997. The whole goal of what was happening with the parking network was to take the things that we had learned to also take something that I had learned very quickly, in that stepping on the outside, you really get a different view of this industry, and to try to share that with the people who have the terribly difficult and hard job every day of managing parking operations, no matter what part of it you're in. Commercial operations, university operations, medical operations, airport, all of those things are hard. They're very hard. And I've always wanted our role to simply be the ability to help them. Next question.
So sometimes we get so stuck in the mud in our current positions and in our roles in the different industries, no matter what piece you're in. We love that we get to come on this podcast going forward. This is our first episode, but we love that going forward, our main purpose and goal is to provide knowledge and resources so that you can not feel so stuck in the mud, so that you can take things that maybe you hadn't seen or heard before and apply those to your current position and see growth and see change. And we love to be a resource. That's kind of what this has been founded on since 1997, was to be a resource. And so we love to be an extension of you and an extension of your team. And we look forward to having you join us. To quote one of the greatest business minds of our time, Charles Munger, he said, "The best thing a human can do is help another human being know more." Here on our Parking Industry Podcast, we want to provide knowledge and resources. If you heard something that sparked your curiosity in today's episode, please reach out on our socials at TPN Consulting. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. See you next time on Our Parking Industry.